Good evening, everybody. I am Shelly B, a conservative Black sister surviving in a hot mess world. And tonight's hot mess is, are unattractive women treated different in society? Are unattractive women targeted by men because they feel that they are insecure or have low self-esteem? Um, it's a touchy subject, and I feel that we've all been there at some point in our lives, as far as being insecure or feeling unattractive and things like that. And do men prey on that when it comes to women? So, but before we get into this, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I am Shelly B. I would appreciate you very much if you would just subscribe to the channel. It doesn't take anything to do it. Just subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Like the videos, share the videos. You know what you have to do just to, get it moving. I would really appreciate it. All right, so before we get into all of this, I have to say, what's up to everybody. I haven't been on here in a little couple of weeks because I was having connectivity issues with the internet, Xfinity. So they had to go outside and do something to the lines or whatever. It was causing my live streams to not work and blah blah blah. So it took a while to get technician out here, and they had to come twice, and finally they got it fixed. So hopefully everything is going good right now. And over the course of the time of me not being on, I saved so many videos of things to talk about, because politically and just in society as a whole, there's a lot had went on over the last couple of weeks. But I came across this maybe yesterday, I think. And it just really just resonated on me that I should talk about this, because I feel like a lot of people go through this. I mean, men go through it too, but I'm just specifically going to deal with women because I watched this video and it was very heartbreaking what the women were saying. And I didn't even think that most of these women were unattractive, so to speak, or whatever. And it just made me go down a rabbit hole of thinking, is it really the physical attractiveness, or is this something much deeper that people exude? So we're going to look at this. It was really fascinating to me about how women in society feel, and how they really feel that because they're quote unquote unattractive, that men just treat them bad anywhere they go. Like, if they won't hold the door for them, they won't help them carry their bags and different things. It's really crazy. And me, as somebody that growing up, I wasn't considered attractive. I used to get teased a lot. Everybody used to make fun of my forehead. They made fun of the way I walk. They just everything. I had a gap in my teeth. They made fun of that. It was just endless. I used to get beat up by girls and boys. I had to learn how to fight to defend myself. It got so bad, especially when I lived in California. And so I just feel like, I grew into my looks eventually, and I even became a model and everything. And you still have those insecurities just because you grow up and you look different. It doesn't mean that you're still not that original person that took all that bullying and all the name calling and stuff like that. So I understood what a lot of these women were saying. So let's look at this. I haven't been on here a couple of weeks, and just that fast. I digress. Okay. So let's look at this, because this is really, really sad, honestly, that women feel this way, and that, society, the standards of beauty doesn't include most people. It doesn't include. So it's just, it's terrible. I'm trying to get all this stuff set up. I'm sorry. I should have did this beforehand. I'll get better. It's like I forgot what I'm doing. All right, let me make this bigger. Okay, there we go. We're on point. I should have did that from the beginning, but I didn't. And it's like forgot everything I've been doing, just not being on here for a couple of weeks. Okay, so let's watch this together. This is a short.
A lot of men believe that if a woman is not their type, that she shouldn't be anybody else's type.
As a socially unattractive woman, I feel this on a spiritual level. And not only do they think that no one else should be attracted to you, they also feel like you shouldn't have any dating expectations and you should just be grateful for whoever is trying to talk to you.
And I have heard that where people feel like, oh, this person's really overweight or this person's quote unquote not attractive. They should be glad that somebody's with them. And a lot of the women, they do feel like that. They really do feel that that it's hard to get somebody, and these women are going to explain to you all the stuff that they go through and what they tolerate from men in the fear of being alone because they feel that they don't really have a lot of options.
100%, because men decide that if you are not the beauty standard, you're not even worth humane treatment. Oftentimes they've been conditioned in such a way that the world doesn't even treat societally unattractive women correctly. As a woman who is societally unattractive,
if men treat you bad, if you pretty, if you are unattractive or whatever the case may be, I just feel like they have a tendency to treat any woman bad. So we have to really unpack this and see what really is going on here. Because I tend to really think that it's not really the beauty alone that makes a woman unattractive to a man.
This is the treatment that we received. We are looked at like, how dare you have standards? How dare you think highly of yourself? You're not even like, this is a, mind you, these.
But look what she's saying. So why can't a man feel like that? You understand? Because I have a son, so I'm always going to be on the wrong side with women sometimes because I have a son. But a man has, a right to want what he wants. You understand? If he don't like overweight women, he don't like overweight women. If he don't like a short woman, if he don't, whatever the case may be, everybody has their preference. And I don't necessarily think we should beat the men up for that. But where it becomes an issue to me, if you're just nasty to a woman because she's not pretty, in just general society as a whole, like, you wouldn't hold the door for a woman that you don't think is attractive. You won't speak politely to a woman that's unattractive. A lot of people, they say that they feel that the unattractive woman has an instant attitude already. A lot of men have said this. And maybe it's because of the way that they're treated all the time. I don't know. To me, I feel like it's so much to unpack with this. Let's just listen.
These are subconscious beliefs. They will project onto us and make us feel like we're wrong for saying, hey, actually, you can't treat me like that. You can't cheat on me. No, I have preferences too. And I have standards. They will look at you like, how dare you? You're fat. How dare you? You're ugly. How dare you? So you're pretty much stripped of your humanity when you don't match what society tells people is beautiful.
But don't women do this to men too? Like women, I feel like men and women make the same argument. Women say that they date men that are not as attractive, because they have money or whatever the case may be, I mean, I couldn't, I don't know. I feel like her argument, a man can make it as well.
A lot of people are brainwashed. They're caught up in groupthink. So they only want someone who their homeboys agree is attractive. The women only want to hang out with women the world finds attractive. They wouldn't want to be caught with somebody who's not societally attractive. Most people are brainwashed. And that's something we need to remember.
For her to say people are brainwashed because they don't want an overweight person, I'm not the most fit person. You understand? I'm always fighting at 20 pounds, 20 pounds up, 20 pounds down. Hey, Robert. Robert says, hi. You wrote Shirley. I don't know if that was a typo because you said Shirley the first time, but you said, it's good to hear your voice. Keep preaching, preacher. I'm not really a preacher. I just give my opinion. I'm not trying to, force my opinions on anybody. I don't want to preach to anybody. I just tell them things like, I'll see you soon. Okay, take care. You have a great evening. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for even stopping by. Have a great evening. So what was I saying? I just feel like it's, I feel like it's kind of crazy to think that it's something wrong with somebody because they don't want an overweight person. Like I was saying, I'm not the most fit person, but I do try my best to be active. I don't want to let myself go completely. Like I said, even when I was a model, I still modeled at a size 10, size 12. I always was big. was always a thick girl. I'm not ever trying to be skinny. I don't even like myself like that. You know, I never will be. But I do like to be fit. I like to ride my bike. I like to hike. I like to camp. I like to be outdoors. I like to swim. I like to be very active. And a lot of times, an extremely obese person cannot do that. So I understand why some people might not like that. You know, everybody has their preference, and I don't see anything wrong with it. If they're discriminating against you, you know, at work because of your weight, or at the supermarket, you know, they slam the door in your face, or, you know, those are the things I feel like are wrong. But your personal preference, everybody's entitled to that. They don't have to date you. I'm sorry. If somebody don't like a heavy girl, listen. And one girl's going to explain in here why women should keep it together. And I agreed with everything she said. We'll get to it.
So I really don't want y'all to take it personally. If you are a woman who is, or even a man who is societally unattractive, you will be treated differently. And that's just what it is. It's not fair.
See, to me, the fact that she feels this way is like she's going to exude this negative attitude of herself. She's going to exude that out. And that's why I say, is it really the weight, or is it your low self-esteem, and you're exuding like a negative energy surrounding yourself? And people pick up on it whether they know they do or not.
But it's reality. And you have to learn to get your confidence from within. You have to learn to do your own thing and not be fixated on other people accepting you and accepting your attraction. You are attractive if you decide that that is what you are. But understand that world is going to be separate from the real world that classifies you as someone who is ugly or unattractive. You just have to understand there's a duality to you existing in this plane. It just is what it is. It's unfair, but that's life.
Why is being a big girl in a friend group on a night out such an exhausting experience?
Girl, I couldn't listen to, because I hate when they talk like this and they go on and on and on forever, and there's long story time, and it's so annoying when girls talk like that. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
A man that knows that you are not his type will be the one that will treat you horribly. He will show you how much he truly doesn't like you, but he will keep you around because he wants sex. The same.
Now, ladies, you have to be honest here. We're all going to be honest here. Everybody has gone through this, I feel like, at some time. Did you have some man or whatever, or some guy you're dating, and you don't feel that they're treating you right, but you're just like, well, I'll hang on to him because I ain't got no other options or whatever. Men do it too. Men do the same thing. Women do. Like this argument that these women are making, I just feel like, you know, men can say it too.
Any way you treat a man that you know you don't like, you're not attracted to, exactly. It's the same way a man will treat you. He knows.
She said the same way you treat a man that you're not attracted to is the same way they treat women. It's true. Men ain't doing nothing different than women do. Everybody has their type, and they settle, you know, out of not having no other option. And I was watching this video, and most of the married men were saying that they only married their wives because they couldn't have the woman that they really wanted, or they felt like, you know, I'll marry her. She loves me, and I don't really have anybody else that likes me like this. And if they were wealthy, or, you know, or they could get the woman that they really wanted, they probably wouldn't even be with the wife that they have. It was so deep, but you'd be surprised how many men feel like that. I was surprised that a lot of married men felt like that.
Deep down, you are not his type. But see, those type of men that don't have money, that cannot provide for the woman that they truly want, they'll pick any woman that they believe is insecure, any woman that doesn't know her worth, any woman.
There you go. It goes down to knowing your worth. And we've all been there. Men and women, we've all been there. We've all done that, where we had somebody that really, you know, was beneath you because you just didn't know your value and didn't know your worth, or you let somebody dog you and treat you crazy because you didn't know your worth and your value. And once you get that, then you exude a higher frequency. That's why I always say elevate your frequency, you know, And then you'll vibrate among people in a higher frequency.
That will know, or he will believe, that can deal with his struggles, he'll deal with those type of women. Doesn't mean that you are bottom of the barrel. You're just not his type. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Guys, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know you all can see from the title. Oh my God, this topic is one that really breaks my heart, because I'm one person that has also suffered with self-confidence over the years, and watching these women share their experiences of how men treat you when they don't find you attractive, heartbreaking. But anyways, I'm going to let you guys watch the video and I'll come back at the end with my commentary.
I know that 1,000 people have said this, but it's actually insane how much different you get treated if you go from ugly to less ugly. Like, I was ugly forever until like junior year of high school, and when I went back to school junior year, way more people were like nice to me. People actually wanted to be my friend, whereas before, people never wanted to be my friend. They thought I was weird. They thought I was ugly.
People definitely thought I was weird growing up, because you know, I lived in a predominantly white area. It was black people there, but our school is predominantly white, and I had a lot of white friends, and they used to make fun of me for the way I spoke, the way I dressed, the way I wear my hair, my forehead, how I walked, my teeth. I mean, I feel like it was nothing that they didn't make fun of me about as a kid. It was like I went into high school and everything just was different. Everything just changed. Everybody's opinion changed. Plus, I went to a high school that was out of the neighborhood that I lived in. I mean, my middle school was out of the neighborhood too, and they still treated me bad. But anyway, I say all that to say that, you know, I know what she's talking about, because, you know, I can see both sides of this coin, of like how it feels, how just other people's perception of you can really make you feel, you know, can really work on your self-esteem. You know, it took me years to build that up.
I would get made fun of for being ugly, and then it tapered down. Like, you become a person if you aren't ugly. It's really bad. I'm not saying that I'm like good looking now, but when you improve in looks, you do get treated very different.
It's honestly crazy to me how men treat unattractive women. So I'm not going to say I was like ugly, but in high school, I was definitely nowhere near as attractive as I am now. And also I was just like nerdy, skinny, kind of just not confident, but men were just so mean to me. I'm talking like they would full on ignore me in conversations. So when I got to college and started getting all of this male attention, I was like so confused. The switch up to me is just so crazy, because now I literally get everything for free. I get invited to the craziest things with like celebrities, rappers, like not because I'm famous, but because I'm pretty, and so are my friends. That's literally the only reason. Obviously we're fun too, but it just makes me sad though how men view unattractive women versus attractive women. It's just like,
and you see how the women that were deemed unattractive at one point and now they're attractive now, it's like they have empathy and they don't have respect for the men because of how they were treated before. And, you know, I kind of get that, because you do see that men are very disingenuous because they only like you because of how you look. I've had guys tell me that, oh, the reason why I reached out is because I like the way you look or whatever. I have mostly men on any of my pages or whatever, you know, and all day they're on there, you know. So it's like, you know, most of the time people are only want to talk to you because of the way you look. It doesn't have anything to do with your personality or anything of substance. And that's what I can't stand. You know, if somebody writes in my book, in my what's up, gorgeous, whatever, I just don't even respond. If you have to think of something way more creative to say than that, you know, it's almost a little annoying when people say that, because I just feel it's just very surface and very shallow.
who cares? Anyways, love you guys so much. Fuck men. Bye.
I just saw 2 different videos about men.
Now this girl, I'm gonna skip her too because she goes on and on about being the fat friend. Let's see. Oh, let's just skip to this.
Same thing if she's not your type.
Hold on. Oh, let's hear what this lady has to say. I liked what she said too.
And then you're going to find out how he treats women he doesn't find attractive.
I'm always suspicious when I see a.
This is in the description. It's a long video, so that's why I'm skipping over because it's almost an hour long. But I would say watch it because, you know, it's just interesting to see how these women feel, and they do give you advice and blah, 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 blah.
Very good looking man flirting with someone he wouldn't dare mess with if he was rich. I'm always side-eye. Look, if you're a woman and a very attractive man is flirting with you, it's a scam. Okay? It's a scam. I'm going to tell you why. Because I've heard men, and they say, if you choose one that's average or ugly, they'll give you everything and more. They'll take care of you. If you choose one pretty, they'll expect you to take care of them. So
I have had a man even say that. Like, it's, you know, they just feel insecure and, you know, they're going to have to work too hard for me because I have my own everything. And I do happen to know a lot of men because I work in fields that are just male dominated, and it makes them very insecure. And it's crazy.
So fellas, stop going for looks. These men understand that they can get anything they want from average or below average woman. And so they target them, especially if they have children, because they figure, oh, this might be my last chance. Let me get with him. So if you see an attractive man walking your way, you know, licking his pinky and his thumb and trying to straighten out his eyebrows and turn around and walk away, don't even fall for it. It's not going to work. What's in his wallet? Does he have a bank account? Is it full?
Men don't.
And that's funny. A lot of women do say that, like, you know, you going to get an ugly dude or a pretty guy that's broke. It's like, you know, the pretty guy is like, they want you to pay for them. I've had guys try to date me, younger guys, and I don't have time for that. I'd rather be by my damn self than be bothered with that foolishness. But that's, you know, that's what's going on out there. And I feel like men have the same argument. Men, the same thing these women are saying, men say it too. Let's skip a little bit more through this because this is very long. Let's just move along way past all these girls. Let me see. I don't want to. Let's go here. This girl right here said the best.
To come to is realizing that men do not care about your accomplishments as a woman. They don't care about your education. They don't care about your degrees. They don't.
This is just going to remind me of Kevin Samuels because he said this all the time. And Black women get on there like they're so smart because they have their degree and their everything and all this and that. And he tells them all the time that men don't care about that. They really don't. And they might even be turned off by it, because they want a woman to submit. I've had men say this all the time, that they want a submissive woman. And then women look at that like that's a bad thing. And it's not. If your man is worthy of submission, if he's a man that is a leader and is going to lead you in a good way, then you are supposed to submit to him. And I don't think it's difficult to be submissive to a man that is treating you right. You know, I just feel like women, they think their education is something to a man, and it's really not, because they're not looking at that. That's something that we look at in a man because he's supposed to be this leader. You know what I'm saying? But we want to get in a relationship and think that we're so smart and we're going to lead him. And it's just always going to be a conflict, because that is not the place that a woman is supposed to be in. A man's supposed to be the leader. The woman's supposed to be, the man's the head, the woman is the neck. That's how it's supposed to be. And this is why we're always going to be at odds, because we're not in our proper places, you know. But I'm not going to be letting no man lead me to the bowels of hell, you know. So I get it, you know, why women don't want to, be followers of a man. But if you get a good one, that's what you're supposed to do. And I feel this is a lot of the problem.
Care about how much money you're making. They don't care about, what businesses you're running. They don't care about any of that stuff. If they do not find you attractive, they will not go out of their way for you whatsoever. They will walk right past you.
I think she's attractive. I feel like she has natural beauty. I don't see what the issue is. I mean, we can't see the bodies on any of these women because the cameras are full. I mean, just face. But I just wonder, is it because they're full figured or whatever? Because I know a lot of men love that. You know what I mean? I feel like it's more just what you exude and the confidence and stuff that you exude that makes you unattractive. It's your inner light and all of that that makes you unattractive, in my opinion. I just feel like there's somebody for everybody, but if you're exuding that is something wrong with you or that you're at some type of deficit because of the way you look or whatever, I feel like you're going to exude that and it's going to be off-putting without you even realizing or the person realizing that you're exuding that.
To a beautiful woman. And the thing about it is the sooner you like realize that and accept it, you won't even get like offended by it. Like, because the thing about it, men and women are just wired differently. A real man doesn't really have to care what a woman has going on. If he has, money, if he has education, all that kind of stuff, I mean, it's not like you can't even really fault it. Like, men have the luxury because for the most part across, I don't even know if I go as far as saying like across the world, but for the most part in most communities, men make more money than women. So they have the luxury of being able to date for things outside of stability, even general, sometimes even compatibility. They can date for whatever reason they want to. Whereas women, like, sometimes we're looking for other stuff. We can have $1 million in the bank. A lot of women would still want a man that has more money than.
How about that? She said a woman can have $1 million in the bank and still would want a man to have more. And we do carry on like that. You know what I mean? And then, you don't realize that it's so much more to the relationship than just the money and who earns the most or who's smarter than the other one and all that. And it's just, I just wish men and women could get in their proper places, because I feel like if a woman is submissive, then there's the men that will run over you and take you for granted. And then if you're not, the man is mad because you're argumentative or defensive or whatever. It's just like it's hard to really find a balance. And everybody's just, I feel like with people that they're just not evenly yoked with. And it kind of goes back to what Kevin Samuels used to always say, is that like this girl saying that you have to just realize where you stand and pick somebody on your level. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of these women want these men that's on these super high frequency or, on a super, not even high frequency, because you can be broke and be on a high frequency, but they just want these high value men and all this and that. And they're just not at the level of that. And, like one of the AI, the old lady creators that give relationship advice, she was like, saying that all women are expensive. Pick the one you can afford and shut the fuck up. Basically, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing with women. It's like, pick the man on your level and shut up. You know what I mean? It's like you're wishing on a star for this person that's so out of your reach. Or is do the work on yourself to elevate your frequency. That is what I chose to do. I did a lot of work on myself. And when you do that work on yourself, you're going to watch yourself elevate and just forget about dating in all areas of your life. I feel like I've elevated in all areas of my life. And I'm very happy, with the person I am today and what I've achieved and where I am and the joy that I have in my life at this time. And if I meet a man that's a leader, I will be submissive and follow him, and create something great. Otherwise, I'll just stay by myself because I'm that joyful, in my life. And, by working on yourself and putting the love into yourself instead of putting it into some outside entity, that is going to elevate your frequency. Every time, I guarantee, and you will meet better people that way. I mean, you won't have to do a lot of spiritual work, a lot of work. I do a lot of work on my body too, to try to keep it together to the best of my ability. I'll fall off. That's why I say I'm always struggling. That 20 pounds. up, down, So, but I try to keep it together. I don't let myself go completely. Listen to what this young lady's gonna say.
In them, or has something equal or something similar. I'm not saying all women, but a lot of women, because they're just scared. They know it makes them an easy target for men that are leeches and moochers and just want to use them. But men, they just are wired differently. They can go after what's beautiful. So realizing that as a woman, I also had to come to the other harsh reality of what
right. A man can pick a woman just because she's beautiful and how he makes her feel. You understand? Because that's really what it boils down to, is how you make a man feel and how how you help him recover from his wars that he goes through every day and stuff like that. It's very that a woman's job. And a lot of women don't realize that, where women, we need a man that can be physically strong and protect us and, provide for us and stuff. Like, we're looking for something completely different.
My grandmother told me when I was like maybe 14 or 15, she told me that you have to maintain your appearance as a woman until the day you die. And I know some of y'all
hear this. Her grandmother told her that you have to maintain your appearance to the day you die. I look at how women were in the 50s. Women were taught to dress up and look pretty for their husband when he came home. I don't see what's wrong with that. Because why does he want to come home to you with a bonnet on, with some active wear pants when you ain't active? I mean, a bathrobe on. I mean, it would be nice. I seen one video where a woman dresses up in a costume every time her husband comes home. It's a silly costume. A firefighter, all kind of crazy stuff. I thought it was hilarious, and it keeps the relationship funny and fun. And as irritated as her husband seems sometimes when she comes home and doing all these pranks on him, he's getting attention. And it's funny. It's fun. It keeps you young and happy in the relationship. I would I like a man in sweatpants. I can't lie, but I wouldn't want to just see him in a holy t-shirt wearing the same damn shit every day and stuff like that. Life is about balance, and the same thing that, we expect, men expect it too. You can't fall off because there's other women that's, keeping it together. They can't help but see it. I don't know. I just can't let myself go to that magnitude. I'm a person that pulls it together just to go to the supermarket and stuff like that. I just don't want to ever be caught out there looking crazy. That's just me. Even when I'm home, my lounge clothes are cute. That just brings me joy to look like that.
Thinking like, oh, damn, Taylor, you didn't listen. I don't wear makeup all the time, but I still kind of feel like I'm put together. I always have good hygiene. I always maintain, a certain level of fitness. Y'all know my mother died. She had a stroke when I was 13. So I always try to maintain a certain level of fitness.
Well, a lot of the reason why I want to try to stay fit, I go to the doctors regularly. I have a trainer. I go to the gym. I ride my bike. I do whatever I can. I have my son at 40. I want to be alive to see my son be a man. I don't want high cholesterol. I don't want diabetes and heart shit and all. So that's why I try to keep it together. And once you hit a certain age, you're going to have to work hard for it. Now I'll be doing like weight training and stuff. It's not fun, but the results are great. So I just can't let myself fall apart completely because vanity won't allow it. What for me, whatever it is for you that motivates you to get it together, get it together.
But she told me that you have to be it all, or like you have to, like, you can be funny, you can be smart, you can be strong, you can be, you know, like all of these other things, but you can never neglect your appearance in the process. And coming to that realization, like, wow.
I agree. And fellas, this goes for you too. Don't get no pot belly, you know. And once you get to a certain age, a little bit of weight is okay, because once you get to a certain age, it'll be hard. I get it. But you don't want to be crazy with it. You understand? A little something is all right. You know, a little bit of belly, something is okay. A little bit of thighs is okay. You understand? But you don't want to go crazy where you're unhealthy and you can't even go for a walk or ride your bike or anything like that. That's crazy to me.
As a woman, you always have to maintain your appearance, because it's just, there's so much currency in a woman's appearance. And I'm going to tell you one other thing. My grandmother is 94 years old. She's a woman who's always taking care of herself physically. She always told me, don't let your kids stress you out. Don't let your husband stress you out. Don't let your job stress you
out. And that is very true, because stress is the short, I don't know what's wrong, I feel like allergies. Stress is the shortest way to age you quick. And I don't like nothing stressing me, because I know this and I'm trying to keep it together. So as soon as I feel stressed out from somebody, I leave them alone. If we can't work this out where it's not going to be a stressful situation and aging me, I got to go. Even with work. If I have too much stress and too much drama and stuff like that, I don't need to work there. I don't need to be with those people, because it's not worth it.
You out. And I'm telling you right now, every time I go out with my grandmother, she always gets compliments on her looks. People never believe her age. She gets hit on by men at 94 years old. She's still getting hit on, which is crazy to me, but it happens. And
have y'all seen those the fittest women? And some of them are like 70 and their bodies look like they're 30. I'm telling you, by being in shape and weight training and stuff like that, it'll make your body stay looking young. And that's a lot of the reason why I do it, is because I want to keep it together and I don't want to get all out of shape and flabby and shit. Because you see that shit happening, you know, once you get to a certain age, you start seeing, like when I was a model, I could lose 10 pounds in a week. You know, now I got to fight for it now to lose 10 pounds. I got to damn near fast and starve to, you know, but you got to do what you got to do. You can't let it all go south.
I understand now that like beautiful women are always going to have options. Okay. So like at the very
beautiful women complain too. Beautiful women get messed up men too. Beautiful women get men that leech off of them or beat them or do. Listen, that is a misconception that beautiful women have it all like that, because they go through it too. You could look at Hollywood and look at the models and this and that. Some of the most beautiful people in this world have had terrible relationships too. Nobody is exempt.
Most. A man who can get a beautiful woman that's also smart, funny, and all that other stuff, he's going to feel like he hit the jackpot. But if you're a woman that never really puts much effort into their appearance, you don't maintain your fitness, you don't really, you know, try to dress in a way that's, you know, where you at least look polished. You don't have to wear makeup. You don't have to look like a Barbie doll. Some people prefer a more natural.
That's why I say just polish. Just, you don't have to have makeup or even have your hair done. Like most of the time I had this wrapped up like this. You know, I have a huge collection of hats. I love hats. I don't wear wigs and all that stuff. When I was younger, I used to wear them when I was a model, but I really don't like having hair on my head. I always hated that. Only if I had to, and now I don't have to. So, and now my hair is really short. I cut my afro off because I just wanted to clear my energy. Every once in a while, you should, you know, every so many years, whatever, you should cut your hair because hair holds energy. And I definitely feel light and free when I did that. And I can't even tell you, I feel like more men talk to me now that my hair is short, which just surprised me that now that I have really short hair, that I draw so much attention to myself with it.
But look, You don't have to have a super exaggerated body or anything like that either. But if you don't look put together or they don't find you attractive, it's hard, like dating. It is. And like I said, men are just wired differently. They're built differently. They have the luxury of being able to date just for looks. Whereas women, we're looking for more than that. Okay. So if you're,
I mean, I feel like men are looking for more than that, but like I said, for men, I feel like it more bad. It's not like he's looking for you to provide for him and do, unless he's a bum. Like they said, the guys that are freeloading. But if he's a real man, he's look. It's how you make him feel. You understand? And how you elevating him, and how you're caring for him emotionally and stuff like that. That's really what they look for, from what I've heard them say. You know, a woman that can take care of them. You know, do stuff for them. You know, keep the family in line, run the household, you know, help run the business, whatever. You know, whatever he's asking you to do, you're supposed to help him in doing it, you know? And if you have 9,000 careers and different things that you're doing, you might not be of no use to a man like that. That's why a lot of times they pick women that don't have all of that. And women don't understand why their degrees and all that don't mean anything.
a woman that has money, education, you know, can provide for themselves, all of this kind of stuff, but you don't do anything to maintain your appearance, unfortunately, you're going to attract sometimes the wrong men. I see it all the time. Like, you might attract the pretty men, but you're going to have to take care of them physically, financially, all of that kind of stuff. They will mooch off of you. They will lie to you. They will abuse you. They will do all of this other stuff. They will try to control your finances. They will splurge on other women on your dime. I've seen it happen. Okay. And ask any woman who's maybe had an extreme like weight loss, or done something to their self physically. Like, for instance, maybe they got their teeth done.
The reason why women get more attraction after they have extreme weight loss is because their confidence goes up. That's why I say it's not necessarily the way you look that's the problem. It's inside. It's like you're exuding more confidence. I feel like all men like a confident woman, unless he wants somebody with low self-esteem to abuse. Because other than that, why would you want somebody that doesn't see their value? Why would you want to be around somebody like that? Why would you want to be in somebody's frequency that's like that? I don't see that. That doesn't make sense.
Maybe they changed their hair. Maybe they got their breasts done. Maybe they got like a liposuction.
Listen, how many times have you seen men get a girl breast implants and liposuction? Because they care about the way the woman looks. They'll buy you a personal trainer and all kind of stuff to make sure you look right with them. That's how they think.
Something like that. Ask them if their quality of men or the type of men that they attracted once they made those physical changes changed. Ask them. And the thing about it is, it made me sick to my stomach, like coming to this realization, because I've always been a woman that prided herself on being like smart, and I think that I'm funny, and I think that I have a lot of things going on for me, but men just do not care about stuff like that. They really don't. Like I said, you have to either have both or just be beautiful. You can't have all of this stuff and not be attractive. Because men will, like I said, they will walk right past you unless they're the type that is going to mooch and just take advantage. Not a lot of these men are just so shallow. It's disgusting. Like, it's disgusting, but I've just grown to accept.
I like what she said, but I'm going to skip up a little bit. Let me see. Let's hear what this guy had to say, because I like what he had to say, and he was honest.
Will look in you, and you might see them with a bigger woman or an unattractive woman, and the reason is they feel like they can get over on a bigger woman or an unattractive woman. They feel like they don't have to provide as much. They look at you and they know for a fact that you got other men volleying for the position. So they don't want to put up with the headache. They don't want to put up with treating you right. So they'll go for a bigger or unattractive woman because
and a lot of I've even had men say this to me that they, I mean, a lot of times I'll make more than some of the guys I date. Like it doesn't bother me if they make less. I would like it if they were at my level. I would prefer that. I would, or a man that makes more, but I don't judge them for that. I look for many other things. But it would just always cause a conflict. It would just always cause a conflict because they feel a way about that. That's why I feel like women that have all these degrees and they think they're better than the man and they make more and all that, I feel like men have a problem with that. They don't like that. I don't know if it's an ego buster. I don't know, but it just always is a problem when you make more. Unless they're trying to mooch, then they're glad. But like if it's a real man, it bothers them because they really should be in a position of being the provider. They should. I just feel instinctively and in their spirit, they know that that is not balanced, that they're not in their rightful place as a man because that's what they're supposed to be doing. I'm sorry.
We've been taught growing up that bigger or unattractive women are easy and they're going to put up with a lot more. And if you get into the right movement with them, they'll probably let you walk all over them like a doormat. We are taught that unattractive women and bigger women have a low self-esteem. So these men definitely don't want to deal with women that's going to actually put up a fight. These men don't want to deal with women who's going to make them actually live up to expectations. So they will go with the less attractive woman. They will go with the bigger woman because these men want convenience. They don't want a challenge. Think about it for a second. How many of your unattractive girlfriends got a man? How many of your bigger girlfriends got a man? Now you know why. Don't get mad at me for the truth. I said what I said.
For my ugly / conventionally unattractive
Okay,
girls.
so we get the point of this. It's a long video. Y'all could watch this on your own time. But I just had to come on here with this because I know that a lot of women face this. And I don't even think it has anything to do with being unattractive. I just feel that a lot of people are on a low frequency and they're exuding this. And you're just going to get what you're just going to, and I have to learn this. I'm a person that has been in mostly all them situations. But if you're on a low frequency, you're not going to attract, and I say this all the time. If you're on a low frequency down here, you're not going to attract somebody that's way up here. You're going to attract the people that's in your realm. If you don't like it, then you got to elevate your frequency. That's it. That's the only choice you got, which means that you have to do work on yourself and loving yourself and getting rid of all of the bad things that are holding you down and holding you back from the life that you want. Maybe you might have to lose weight and get fit because I'm telling you, that's going to elevate your frequency. That's going to build your confidence. We're all insecure when we're outside of our comfort zone with our weight. I don't give a damn what nobody say. Look at Lizzo. She had a whole fat girl, career. Saying how great being fat was and she lost weight. Monique too. Everybody should be at a certain level of fitness for health. So you don't get diabetes and heart stuff. And, that's the reason why it's a turnoff to a lot of people too, is because they see it as a health risk. And it's not nothing sexy about a health risk looking person. Sorry. So, it's a lot, to unpack. But again, like Kevin Samuel said, you got to be honest. Got to be honest. I've always been a big girl. But I do try to be, I try to be fit. I try to go to the gym. I walk. I ride the bike. I do, when I ride my bike, I'm riding like 7 to 10 miles a day. I try to stay fit, You know, now where my problem is, I like to eat. So that's the reason why even when I was a model, I wasn't small. I want to eat. I'm not trying to be skinny. You know, that's just not my body type. So, you know, it's just all about just trying to be as healthy as you possibly can. And elevating your frequency is what's going to really do it for you. Is doing the work on yourself. You know, get rid of everybody for a time. You know what I mean? And just work on yourself and do things that bring you joy. And like I tell you all the time, a lot of you don't even know what brings you joy. You have no idea of what makes you happy and what you're even looking for in a man and stuff like that. You know? And, you know, I had to figure that out. And once you figure that out, then you got to do the work to get on the frequency with what you want. I don't even think it has nothing to do with the way these people look. I really don't. I tell people all the time, I have such a high opinion of myself. It's really hard for anybody to make me feel bad about myself. Today wasn't always like that. So you got to work on that. You know, you got to work on that and be content. You know, a lot of you say, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. But you want a man. You want companionship. You need that. Human beings need that. So you have to work on that. Be a companion to yourself. You know, start doing things that bring you joy. Work on yourself. Learn to know yourself. A lot of people don't even know themselves good enough to know what they even want in a relationship. So you have to do the work on yourself. And I guarantee you, when you do that, you're going to elevate your frequency. So I'm really tired. I got to get back in the swing of things. I love you. This means I love you in sign language. And I do if you sat through this with me. I really do. I appreciate anybody that likes these videos, that encourages me to keep going when I don't feel like doing it. I really do. I appreciate y'all. And please just share the videos, subscribe to the channel, do whatever you can to support this. I really do. I really do appreciate it. Please inbox me with ideas, things you want to see me talk about. Most of the time I come on here, I really just want to try to elevate the frequency of people and share with them information that I know that they're not getting through mainstream media. You know, I was always a conspiracy theorist, but it seems like today in 2025, I was a conspiracy fat person because everything I said over the years has been 100% correct. So I like to always come on here and show you guys people that are like-minded and try to get y'all to elevate your frequency and think in a different way. And tonight I would like you to think about elevating your frequency and doing the work on yourself to love yourself. Be in love with yourself first. Figure out what brings you joy. And then maybe you will be able to share that with somebody else. And if not, you're going to be a joyous person. Okay? So work on it. I am Shelly B. I appreciate y'all being with me. Have a lovely evening, and I will see you on the next one. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to try to be consistent. That's another thing that I'm trying to do to elevate my frequency is be more consistent with all of the things in my life, be it exercising, doing these podcasts, just doing a whole lot of things in my personal life. So I'm going to go and be consistent and do these exercises that my trainer wants me to do and go to bed so I could get up at like 3 a.m. for work in the morning. So I love y'all. You guys have a great evening. I am Shelly B, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.